Hi students, I just wanted to make a little video to introduce our Rip Van Winkle short constructed response assignment that is due on Wednesday of this week. You guys have done a fantastic job getting caught up on cycle 1 assignments. Some people are still working and coming to learner conferences to do so, but I want us to jump into cycle 2 really strong and making sure that we get this assignment turned in on Wednesday and that we don't fall behind. So I wanted to make a little video to help you get a jump start even before class on Monday. So you can see, you can find the assignment here in week 8. It's on Monday. The assignment is on Monday, and if you click this link here, this will open up a Word file for the document, and this link here will open up the PDF. You can't type in the PDF, but you can type in the Word document, so I recommend just using that so that you can type in the document. So that's where you find the assignment on Wednesday, or when you complete the assignment, you're going to upload it here to our Dropbox so that I can get it graded pretty quickly. So that's where you find the assignment. So what I want to do now is I want us to actually look at the assignment and go through the steps so that you understand what you need to work on and how you need to complete the assignment. So let me pause the video so I can pull up the assignment and y'all don't have to wait on that. And then we'll go through it step by step so I can give you some pointers. All right. Okay, so this is what the assignment looks like. And so it's divided in steps like my assignments always are. Notice the red type. Those are the things that I want you to put in your document. Those are the things I want you to put in and fill in. So you know to look for the red. I have taken out a little bit of the help that we had last cycle with our writing, and I'm going to ask you to do a little bit more independent this time, but we're going to talk about it in class and work together a little bit in class on how to do that. So step 1 is a lot of reading. I want you to consider the characteristics of the American mythology. We're really going to dive into these on class on Monday. And so if you're watching this after Monday's class, go back and watch that recording. And we'll talk a lot more about these characteristics. But they are that American mythology is set in the past, often in remote or exciting places. They are filled with remarkable, strange, or exaggerated characters, and they feature incredible, heroic, impressive, magical, or mysterious events and their consequences, and they do convey a positive message about our nation or its people. Like I said, on Monday, we're going to talk a lot about these 4 characteristics, and we're going to talk a lot about how Rip Van Winkle meets those characteristics in class on Monday. That's really going to prepare your thinking as we start to dive into this writing assignment. Okay, so if you are watching this before class on Monday, please join us. If you're watching it after, go catch that recording in the recordings module in the OHS. I have a passage here that I want you to read. Okay, this is a passage from the story. You probably already read it because we read the story last Monday in class. But I want you to read this passage. And then step 2 is that we're going to consider our writing prompt. After reading the passage above from Rip Van Winkle, answer the following question in a well-constructed paragraph or a quote sandwich. Remember, Huxley's hungry this week for just one sandwich. He ate too many sandwiches last week with our extended response, so he's kind of full. So he just wants you to write one sandwich. It says, how does Irving incorporate one of the characteristics of the American mythology in his short story, Rip Van Winkle? So you're going to pick one of the characteristics from above here in step 1. So I have you in step 3 to identify your characteristic and find support. So from step 1, choose one characteristic of the American mythology that you would like to use to answer the prompt above. So you're going to come up here, you're going to pick one of these characteristics, and you're going to copy and paste it here. Then for step 2, I want you to find one piece of textual evidence from the passage. Okay, I want you to find it from the passage to support your characteristic. Okay, and I want you to copy and paste that textual evidence here. Now, this is a hint that I want to kind of get us thinking about, and I noticed in our declarations, is that we're picking textual evidence that's like this long, that we don't need all of that. Okay, we really only needed a sentence of it. Okay, so I don't want you to choose something that's this long. I want you to pick a line or two. Okay, pick a line or two that really supports the characteristic that you've chosen. Pick a line or two that really supports the characteristics that you're chosen. Then I want you to tell me in complete sentences, how does this evidence support your chosen characteristic? How does it support that characteristic? How are we going to be able to make that bottom bun of the quote sandwich by understanding how this quote supports the characteristics that you've chosen? Now, step 4, you're actually going to build a quote sandwich. Notice here that I've taken a little bit of help away, and I want you to start to build that sandwich without the copy and the paste that we did last time in the extended response. Okay? Now, notice that step 3 still sets you up. Okay? It still sets you up. So you're going to build this quote sandwich by describing your chosen characteristic of the American mythology. So you come up here and look at your characteristic, and you're going to describe that in a few sentences. Then you're going to introduce the quote that you've chosen here. Okay, introduce the quote that you've chosen here. Then include your quote, and then you're going to provide explanation, which you should be able to use here. This description that you have here at the last of step 3 should be your explanation. You should be able to create a paragraph based on the sentence outline that you've created here in step 3. Remember, Huxley is not very hungry this week. He only wants one paragraph, but he has to have a good paragraph. Otherwise, you're going to leave him hungry for like another week and a half or 2 weeks until we do an extended response, and he might starve. So please make sure that you give him a good paragraph with a lot of meat to hold him over until next time we write, which is in 2 weeks when we do our extended response. Okay? I really look forward. We're making great strides in our writing. I saw lots of improvement in cycle 1, and we're understanding how to build these sandwiches. I really want to start to see you be able to make your sandwich on your own a little bit more. So think about how you might use step 3 to build into step 4. All right, I look forward to seeing all of these quote sandwiches. Huxley is very excited and ready to eat them. So we will see you soon in class, or in another flipped video if you're not attending class. I hope to see you soon. Bye, guys.